Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane with myself and Matt Tift. How are you, man?
I'm good. Why didn't you? Shouldn't it be Matt Tift and myself if we're
It,
grammatically correct?
it is, but I'm not grammatically correct at all. In fact, I got corrected today. Listen to this. So I made a good point. I was arguing with somebody, and my point, I'm not going to tell you what I was arguing about, but my point was valid. Like, it was a valid point. And because I didn't put the apostrophe R on it, they're like, it's not your, it's your. And I'm like, I don't care. My point was, I'm right, you're wrong. If that's the only, you know, and it's like this whenever you argue about anything, especially
Wait, do you mean
politics.
you're wrong, like their possession wrong, or you are wrong?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no clue. Like, dude, when it comes to grammar, I am horrible. Like, just absolutely heinously horrible.
I
So,
can
yeah.
vouch for that. Yes, you
Oh
are.
yeah, dude. And I don't. But the only thing is, like, I don't care. Like, and that's why I don't like to text because I'd much rather talk because then you can hear my sarcasm instead of me having to type it, right? Because I mean, everybody. That's the other thing, is when you're doing an argument on Facebook, right, or really anywhere, and you start to argue with somebody, do you ever notice that if you don't put the exact type of grammar in there, they're going to pick it apart and completely ignore the actual argument, right? I mean, that's what they do. It's horrible.
I
That's
don't
what.
know. I don't try to argue with people on Facebook.
Oh, everybody argues sometimes, right?
Yes, but not on Facebook for me.
Not on Facebook. Why
It's
not?
just because you're old.
It's just because what?
Because you're old.
'Cause- well, I'm not going to argue on Twitter. I have like 4 followers.
Yeah, whatever. Well, you're wearing a cool jacket. That's an Indians jacket, and
I am.
Tyler said that he put the caption on. We're going to talk about sports and some other random crap that we have no idea about, which is probably accurate because we really never know.
That's
But we will actually lead off with sports because it is June, and if the playoffs were today, the Indians would be a wild card team, which is shocking.
it is shocking. But the only thing is, like, it is shocking. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody thought we were gonna be where we are right now with who we have. But I think a lot of players surprise us. I mean, honestly, like nobody thought we were gonna be anywhere, nowhere. Because I mean, we're in the rebuilding process. Jose Ramirez is really the only star we technically have. It's pretty
I
bad.
like because there's a Fox Sports One game. I don't know if it's the one tonight or if it's tomorrow or whatever, but it's at I forget. They're doing like all the promos this weekend on FS1. I was watching the NASCAR stuff, and it was talking about everybody. It was like this player, this player, this player, and the Angels playing, whoever in St. Louis. And then it's like, and Jose Ramirez and the Indians play the White Sox.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much right. It is accurate. It's but the only thing is, like, you got to give him credit because Tito's done a good job with who he has. I mean, we've done. Tristan McKenzie got called. So that's the other thing is Tristan McKenzie just broke Corey Kluber's record and a franchise record of 8 straight strikeouts. So I mean,
I actually didn't see that. I missed that.
yeah,
Dang, that's
yeah.
all.
I mean, we lost the game, so I don't know if like it matters. But I mean, it's still the point is that the dude gets called up. He's 23 years old, gets called up, gets called down, gets called up, gets called down, but still
Yep.
yet somehow broke the record, and we still lost 8 straight strikeouts. Still lost. I don't know. It's bad, but we are. I mean, and we are facing a first place team in our division, and we're not doing half bad. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm just happy baseball's back, right? And we're about to be at full capacity again. We're gonna be going to games. It's gonna be super fun, especially
Yeah.
if you're a Cleveland fan. Don't complain. Don't complain right now. And if you look at what and everybody says, "Oh, it's Lindor's fault. It's the Dolan's fault," and I'm the first one. Trust me, I am the first one to blame the Dolans.
Me
But
too.
dude, Lindor is sucking so bad right now that all of New York, when he steps up, boos him.
Did they really?
Oh, dude, it's it's actually funny, and a little piece of me, it makes me happy.
He's
A
a
little
Cooper, right?
piece.
I wouldn't laugh. I would feel bad if he would have left and the Indians didn't pay him. I laugh now because he said he didn't try in the World Series. So F you.
Yes. Yo, yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's insane. Could you imagine you? I mean, this is.
That is karma right there.
Oh, absolutely. Could you imagine? And you've been in front of the press, doing post-race interviews and pre-race interviews and whatever. Could you imagine going in front and going, I just didn't try the last couple laps. Didn't want to. I got bored. I was listening to the radio, trying to do different things. Like, could you imagine as a professional athlete going up there and saying something that asinine?
There's only two people that can get away with it. That's Marshawn Lynch because he can, and Kyle Busch because he'd be sarcastic about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true. So if you're
So
good,
I was actually I was watching a documentary, or not a documentary, I guess a docu series,
sure.
and it was Brandon Marshall, it was Chad Ochocinco,
Ocho Cinco.
Brandon Ingram maybe, and somebody else. I can't remember everybody
Sure.
in there, but they had a sit down interview with Kyle Busch, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I'm not I'm not one to watch many stuff about drivers because I like it sometimes, but Kyle's somebody who intrigues me because I feel like he's somebody that a lot of people he's a big polarizing figure. So I like watching stuff that's not just the how'd your car, how'd you do today with your car, and how,
Sure.
that's the stupid crap they get asked every week. That's the same. It's the same company taglines, the same whatever every week. They can't help it but answer the same questions.
Right.
Uh, so I knew him as a person, as an owner. I still know him now, and I always liked him as a guy. Um, but what's interesting about it is he was on there, and it's a good interview to go check out. And they said straight up, like, "You're the bad guy, aren't you?" He's like, "Yep." And he goes, "Well," and they said, I think it's Ocho Cinco. They said, "Do you have a problem with that?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm an asshole. It's okay."
And I never. So a lot of people had a problem with Ocho Cinco or whatever, and honestly, I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like
So here's what
I
what,
just
what I
never
want to ask
cared.
you though, because they brought up a really interesting debate in there that's been going on for last week. So Kyle Busch came out and said, "Yeah, I'm an ass," and they said, "Okay, well, if there's rivalries and stuff, who do you not like?" And he said, "I don't like Joey Logano." And they asked why, and he said, "Well, I feel like he's two faced. He's super nice and laughing your best friend off the track. Then he puts his helmet on, and he's a complete jerk when he puts the helmet on and goes racing." And it brought up an interesting conversation point. I want to talk to you about this
Sure.
because it's an interesting deal because so Joey's agent asked him about it this week, and so Kyle was trying to make a point like, yeah, if you're going to be one person, and Joey said, no, I took that as a compliment because that means I can be a good guy and be a good person to people off the track, and when I go to put my helmet on, I become a different person,
Sure.
and then where Kyle is like, well, I'm an ass in general, so that's how I am, and and that's kind of how Ochocinco saw it too. So it brought up an interesting debate topic to me because these are two guys that people either hate or love. And we are at Driver Intros this week for the Coke 600. I
Sure.
mean, they, other than Chase Elliott, of course, being the most popular driver, they get the most amount of hate and love equally there. Like it's the loudest when those two are introduced because people hate them or they love them. They do not get along with fan bases. So neither do the drivers, which is good. You want that to happen in a
Right.
rivalry. But that's something I want to talk about though, because there are guys who are blatantly, and I mean blatantly, the pompous jerk out there. And then there's guys who, like Joey Logano, they're nice guys and they're good people and they're
Sure.
they're your best buddy and they'll be laughing. And he's a super nice guy. They puts on the helmet and people have said people did not like this at all because they said when he puts on the helmet, he becomes like Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, because he blocks the crap out of people, he'll knock people out of the way, and Dale is up here in everybody's NASCAR mind, right? Like he is the legend.
Right. Right.
When Joey Logano was put in that conversation, people got pissed. And I don't think they were wrong with the comparison though, because they said Joey becomes that guy when he's in the race car,
Sure. Sure.
which he is the most aggressive, the most defensive. Like that comparison is fair. What people didn't like about that was off the track. Joey Logano is no Dale Senior whatsoever. He's just not the same personality. So I guess I want to get your take on that. What's wrong and what's right? Should you be an ass, on and off the court, on and off the track, or should you have the flip of the switch when it's game time?
I think you should have the flip of the switch, right? I mean, we talked about. We didn't go in depth like this, but we kind of talked about. I guess when you're being looked up to, and that's what's happening. Like kids are looking up to you, and I think that's in the back of everybody, or it should be in the back of everybody's mind. If you're in the entertainment business, or you're an influencer, or you're a, a possible role model for somebody. My problem is that if you say ass on and off. Okay, so let's take a sport I know, right? So let's take baseball for instance. Was Barry Bonds a role model? No, he was an ass. He was a jerk. He was steroided up. in an age where steroids weren't acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Or Albert Bell from the Indians, complete and utter d bag, right? I mean, he was just it was a jerk to everybody, to media, to players, definitely to fans. And then you take a look at Jim Thome, who was the complete opposite, who was just as good as Bell, who did, who was a great athlete, a great Clevelander. How he left was horrible. But if you look at that, like, I think it's okay to be a jerk on the field because it means you're trying hard, right? You're not there to make friends, I would imagine. You're there to win a competition. If you could be having a friendly competition, sure. But you're not there to make friends with the other team. You're there to win a cup, or you're there to win a World Series. You're there to win a ring. I just don't find it. I guess in today's day and age, it's not okay. They want you to be polite, politically correct, and follow the suit. But I think back when sports was trying to solidify their viewership and their fan base and everything else, yeah, they pushed the envelope a lot. I think baseball did it, football did it. I mean, hell, NASCAR probably even did it.
Oh, no, definitely. Well, okay, so those are two interesting points you brought up though, because you said nobody's there to be your friend,
Right.
and so that's Kyle Busch's mentality, which I agree with. He said you come with your friends to the racetrack. You're not there to make friends. Now, I think where
Yeah.
the problem he has with Joey Logano is that he is a very nice guy. Now, Kyle's great to his partners in the media, and he signs people's flags and stuff in the campground. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But here's where I want to get your opinion, because
Sure.
Joey tries to be friends with some of the other drivers and is very nice with the other drivers. In fact, he could go up to Kyle probably and be laughing up about something they did yesterday right before the green flag,
Sure.
go on the track and then hit him straight in the fence. So
Wow.
so that's where the argument comes of why people don't like him. And I don't know what's right or wrong in that, because Kyle says, well, you bring your friends with you to the track, which I agree with, or you bring it to the field. I completely agree with that. But Joey, he's saying, well, I'm a nice guy. Sorry, I'm a nice guy. When I put the helmet on, I'm a different person. So it's a very, very different outlook on stuff, because one is saying, I don't like people who are fake, basically. And
Right.
Joey's saying, well, I'm not fake. I am a genuinely nice person, but I turn on a different mode of myself when I get into my zone, when I get to my job. So he's saying, well, he's two-faced, but is he really two-faced, or is that just professional? I don't know. It's two different styles. Kyle's very old school. Joey's
Right.
kind of new school with that, right?
Sure. And I think you made a point. I think, listen, if you're just a genuinely good dude, but there's maybe that's what I guess I'm getting at, is that if he's got that competitive edge, right, which you should, if you're at that level, you need a competitive edge. You didn't get to where you are by not having a competitive edge.
Yeah.
So I mean, is that considered two-faced? No, I think it's having a competitive edge. I think you get serious when you're on. Okay, I'm gonna use obviously this example. When you're on the racetrack, yes, you're gonna be serious. You're gonna do what you got to do to win. Now afterwards, if you take that personal, that's your own problem, I think. So I don't think he's two-faced. I think he's giving everything he's got, everything he needs to give, and doesn't really care what's going on while he's on the racetrack. Now, off the racetrack, yeah, he's going to be nice to those people because he doesn't really have a problem with you. He just wants to beat you, and he doesn't want to hit you or hurt you. He just wants to beat you. He wants to win, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, honestly.
No, I don't. Okay. So is Kyle wrong?
No, I don't think so.
So you think he's just completely different viewpoints then?
Yeah, yep. And I think that's acceptable, right?
It's probably the deal where they're never going to get along because they just don't see eye to eye, right?
Sure.
Because I think Kyle, he's known as being the punk kid growing up. Like, people hated him. He won everything, but then he'd whenever he'd win, he would do the crybaby stuff in front of the fans' face because people would be booing, and it was hilarious. And he still does it. Like, it is part of the show. Like, we need more Kyle Bushes. At the same time, we need more Joey Logano's on track.
Sure.
The funny thing is between them, I think, is that they're in the same era in both totally different mindsets, to where Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, a lot of the old school guys, if they have a problem with you, they're not going to go. They're not going to go tweet about it or whatever. They're just going to go up and sock you in the face, which they've done multiple times, like many, many times. All four of those people have. Like, they just go up and sucker punch you and you're done. And it's hilarious. It's self-policing with that. But
Funny.
so it's funny because sports are in such a weird place, because everybody can get canceled at the snap of a finger, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you're going to go fight somebody, you better have a reason to. And I think in the 90s, you didn't need a reason to, but you didn't have to like the guy.
I mean, and the thing is, like, so you watch hockey, right? Why do you watch hockey? I mean, I'm not saying you do, but if you watch hockey, why are you gonna watch hockey? Are you gonna watch it?
I want to watch them beat the crap out of each other.
That's right. I want to see a good hard hit to the wall.
And if you watch NASCAR, you want to see the wrecks and the fights.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you watch baseball, what do you want to see? What are you hoping to see? A bench clearing, right? Dude, I don't care who you are.
I want to see dingers.
Well, yeah, dingers. I want to see Homer. Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, like, I don't care who you are. At some point in time, violence is like, I want to see it. And people are like, no. It's teaching kids raw to blah. Maybe, I don't know. It's not for me to say, I guess.
Let's remember where we came from here. The Roman Colosseum was literally people trying to kill each other, and there was a lion.
Yeah, exactly. When you watch hockey, the first thing, and then you have LeBron James, who just gets poked in the eye barely, or doesn't even get poked in the eye and is on the ground for 4 minutes.
Yes. Okay. To that point in basketball, because this is currently happening right now.
Yeah.
Do you see that thing? What do you think about the Kyrie Irving situation?
Honestly, I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I looked at it.
Okay, so a fan the other night. So he's playing for
the yes. Go ahead.
We've not seen this or listening later. So Kyrie Irving, he's on the court. And Kyrie's a freaking crybaby. Let me just get that out.
He is.
Like,
he's right up there with LeBron James. You're 100% right.
No, I think he's worse, to be honest, because
that's a lot. That's saying a lot.
LeBron's been around for 10 years longer. Just imagine Kyrie in 10 years. Like,
that's true. That's very true.
He already thinks he's at that point without the clout to give it there.
There we go. I like it.
So, obviously, he left the Celtics. He got all pissy there, just like he got all pissy in Cleveland. He's probably going to get pissy with the Nets here soon, end up with Detroit or something like that. Someone doesn't want him.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so he loses his mind in Boston. He says, I'm done with this. I'm out of here, just like he did in Cleveland. And so left on a bad term. Well, as we know, Boston fans are the most fair weather fans ever.
Oh, dude, Boston and New York? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. They're you don't mess with them. So a fan threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving. Now, I just want to preface this real quick, okay? In NASCAR, people throw beer cans at drivers all the time. They didn't like the way how it ended. In Browns, we had Bottlegate.
Bottlegate, yeah, that's right.
And so nothing happens, right? Okay, sure. The Pacers, somebody threw a cup of water on there, and the team all went and beat the crap out of each other. They all beat the crap out of the fans in the arena. So, not baseball, basketball. So, I've seen in baseball, people have been throwing stuff at them.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, what the heck, whatever, okay? But something with basketball. So, the Pacers had to go clear the entire bench to go beat the crap out of the fans in the arena. One person throws a water bottle at Kyrie Irving, and now the guy is being charged. He's 21 years old, I think. Something like that. He's being charged with assault with a deadly weapon.
But see, that's the problem. Like, are you serious? Like, assault with a deadly weapon. An assault? I want you to think about that. With a deadly weapon of water. What are they getting him on? Because of Corona? Because he could have got sick? Is that what they're saying? He could have been contaminated? That's got to be what it is, right?
No, they said it could have sustained serious injury.
From a water bottle?
Well, I mean, it's Kyrie Irving. If he flinches the wrong way, he gets hurt anyway. So maybe.
That's true. But
maybe he has a point here.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe they shouldn't throw that at Kyrie because God bless him, but he might break a leg or something or pull a hamstring or tear an ACL.
For him, it might hit him and he'll fall off the flat Earth into nothingness.
There it was. I was waiting for I didn't know if I was gonna make the flat Earth joke or if you were. I'm glad you did first.
Okay, so my point being, why? I mean, the guy. Okay, it's made into a big deal, right? It's probably gonna be a $5,000 fine, 10-day jail sentence, something like that. Like it's gonna be small, but why ruin this guy's life? You're Kyrie Irving. Come on, like that's a problem I have with basketball right now. Yeah. Everybody is so soft. It's a flopping show. Somebody throws water at you. Earlier this year, somebody dumped a beer on LeBron. They got ejected out of the game. Like,
well, I mean, I can understand that.
I get ejected. I get that. But then he's going back there cussing his wife out and stuff. Like, it's just. Basketball to me,
I do remember that.
So soft.
Well, it is. It's because, but it's because it's been allowed to be soft, right? Because you have these prima donnas who are a bunch of ring chasers who aren't loyal to anybody. They think they're the best thing since sliced bread, and they're not. And they're a bunch of prima donnas who go out on there and they don't care about the fans. Let's just be honest. LeBron James does not care about the fans. If he did, he'd still be in Cleveland. He cares about a ring and making as much money as humanly possible, which
But when
good
he
for
left,
him.
he said when he went to leave, he wanted to do more things outside of basketball, which is why he has Space Jam coming out. And that's fine, but
Right.
the difference being that the referees and that comes down from the commission, right? So
Sure.
that all comes from the top.
Yeah,
So when you
yeah,
have
absolutely.
that from the top, and that style of play is rewarded for 3-point shootings, you want you got one Steph Curry. Why can't we have all Steph Curry? So
Sure.
every time they drive up to the lane, let's have it be a flagrant foul. Like that's going to be how it is now, because it used to be just a normal foul that they're going up for a layup. Well, now if you touch the guy's arm, it's a technical. Like that's
Oh, yeah.
that's a problem. So you take away inside scoring, you take away defense, and so all you can do is run around in a big zone defense around the perimeter, and then it's just 3-3-3-3-3. Nobody can play defense. It's 107 to 150.
Yeah, it's yeah, and we talked about that before too. That's insane. That's a high score. I mean, that's crazy, but it is. It's technicals and everything else. I guess the problem is that basketball used to be a contact sport, right? The phrase "go hard in the paint" originated from basketball.
The Detroit Cleveland playoff games were so fun to watch.
Right, everybody hated everybody.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is that there's no passion left in it anymore.
Passion's a good word. Passion is actually that is exactly what is going on. There's no passion from these guys. There's no, but it's. Oh, did you ever notice that like all sports are kind of getting like that? The passion goes away when you're getting paid $300 million to play a child's game. I mean, honestly, and that's what it is. It's a child's game. Now, I can honestly say NASCAR is not a child's game. Yeah, if I do remember correctly, it started from people hauling ass from moonshiners and getting away from the cops.
Well, that's the thing about NASCAR is that they don't get paid nearly as much as these other athletes.
Right.
And honestly, their seasons are harder. Their job is a little bit more grueling, in my opinion, between having to manage the fact that they have to have corporate sponsorship to do what they do.
Sure.
Meanwhile, they have to travel all the time. This year's a little bit different, but still they have to travel all over the place. And then everything they have to do for the risk that they have, I've said the same before on the show, but I think it's Richard Petty. They said, I might be misquoting it being him, but somebody said in stick and ball sports, you go into the penalty box or you get put in the bench. In NASCAR, they send an ambulance for you.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, honestly, that really does. And I mean, in hockey, you get injured pretty bad. In football, you definitely get injured pretty bad.
Hockey's badass. Like, hockey's awesome.
Right. And I guess if you take a 95 mile an hour to the face, you're gonna get hurt. But the point is that where's the passion? Like you guys, you're right. NASCAR is still fueled by passion, right? When you don't have a $700 million contract, you're going out there for the love of your sport. You're going out there. You're fighting. Yeah, you're fighting for it. That's the competition, which circles back to what we were talking about before. Leave it on the court. Leave it on the track. Leave it on the field. Leave it wherever you got to leave it. Doesn't matter. Just leave it. Just leave it there. And because and if people are going to say, "Oh, well, you're an asshole off the field," fine, whatever. That's fine. But on the court or on the track or on the field or whatever on the diamond, I'm going to give it my all, whether you like me or not. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going home to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go to the bar with you. And if I do, then we'll be friends. You know what I mean? There's a mutual understanding of what's going on. But you can't just go out there and say, oh, somebody's two-faced because they really, 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 really are competitive. And then off the field, they're a normal human being. That's what you want in an athlete. That's what as a fan, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, I think we need to go cut to a break real quick here. But when we come back, I want to talk about the Indies a little bit more, the Indy 500, and some other fun topics too. But there's a big sports weekend, Memorial Day weekend. The greatest day in motorsports was on Sunday, so we'll hit on that a little bit. And in the meantime, go follow at Keith Miger1, at Matt_Tift. If you're listening to this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you give us a review of 5 stars and share this with everybody you know. And we'll catch you here back after the break.
Welcome back to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself. Matt, you ready for the second half of the show?
Oh yeah.
Wow, dude, that was good. How did you? Good job. Good for you. I'm kind of impressed.
I'm a big Kool-Aid Man fan.
The Kool-Aid Man. That was good. That was a very, 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 very good impression. All right.
Whatever happened to remember the guy that the Cavs hired, the homeless guy with the golden voice?
Oh yeah. Does he still do anything there?
I don't know.
Oh, now I'm curious.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
There's like what, 2015, 2016, like, yeah, that was he did have a good. I wonder if he's still working or what happened to that guy.
The man with the golden voice. How I went from homeless to the announcer.
I hope he's still doing something.
Yeah, actually, he is.
Good.
So he first gained minor fame in the early 80s as a late night radio disc jockey on WVKO in Columbus. So that's weird. What a weird thing. People also search for Matt Lauer and that doesn't make any sense. So that was back in 2011.
That's a strange association.
It really is. I don't know if it's there. He is. Hold on a second. He had a rough restart.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote a memoir. He didn't look homeless anymore. What is it? A Gucci suit? Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he's doing anything.
No kidding. Huh? What happened?
Although this does say in 2015 he was busy. It was a busy year for him. Not only did he announce his presidential. I'm sorry. Not only did he announce.
Well, that's where it went wrong.
Yeah. Not only did he announce his presidential campaign, but he also lent his voice to a big brand's big commercial. As per ad, the man with the golden voice, iconic pipes were used in Pepsi's newest version of their Joy of Pepsi campaign. When at the beginning of the commercial he said, "All right, everybody, if that doesn't get your toes tapping, then check your pulse." So that was a thing. The man with the golden voice was almost involved in an alleged drug smuggling operation. Not sure how you can almost be involved in that, but makes sense. He gives back to the homeless community. He has a long-term girlfriend. He has a good relationship with his children now.
Good for him. Well, look at that.
Oh, the man with the golden voice is homeless again, but still sober. Ted Williams appeared on the Tamron Hall show in January of 2021, about 10 years after his initial viral videos. The interview led to a few sad revelations, including that Williams is once again homeless. "I haven't had a place to call my own since 2014, he revealed. The man with the golden voice also listed a few reasons as to his homelessness. You know, the fair housing laws haven't really been fair to people who've gotten out of prison. He reasoned it's been a long time. I haven't been to jail or had any reason to go to jail since then. Williams also blamed COVID-19 pandemic, saying the COVID situation has postponed and canceled a lot of things, and he hadn't made very much of anything as of last year. Despite not having a place to call his own, Williams is not out on the streets. He's living with his dear friend Mark Henderson and is still hoping things have another turnaround. Williams also confirmed to Hall that he's still sober and hasn't had a relapse since 2011. It's pretty good. That's actually pretty good because 2015 2015 is when everything kind of popped off for him.
I was just curious. I didn't know what happened to that guy.
Yeah, no. Tamron was asked at the time. He said, "Do you wish you never gone viral?" And he actually replied, "At times I do." He said, "With fame and fortune come a lot of other problems, like the fact he also revealed during the interview that he was, in fact, he confirmed once again homeless."
Huh. Well,
crazy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Still, speaking of well, I guess different topics that we're going to talk about in the second half of the show.
Sure.
There's something terrifying.
Spiders?
Worse.
I got nothing.
Right underneath your feet.
What?
Not right, literally right underneath your feet in the ground.
That's not good. What are they?
They're crawling up and they're getting ready.
Cicadas?
It's the 17-year cicadas.
Oh, no, the little ninjas.
I remember going to Cedar Point 17 years ago. And I remember the entire midway, every step, you'd kill about 30 cicadas.
Oh yeah, dude. They're the seven. So it is. It is this. It is. You're right. It is that time.
It is the year of these 17 years.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, this is bad. Like if you're the mayflies at Cedar Point are always bad, but like this is the
bad.
entire East Coast, especially the Great Lakes region, is going to be effed in the A. We'll put it that way.
F'd in the A.
It is
You're not wrong.
terrifying. I remember this from when I was little. It is literally like it's like a bubonic plague of like big
Bubonic.
portions of cicadas everywhere. It is freaky. It is like the locusts have come back. It is terrifying.
like
They're
the-
loud as crap.
They're
Tyler, our
annoying.
producer, sent me something that maybe we should do to them, and that is at night. He found one and put AirPods on it and said they're going to put it on Baby Shark on repeat for 12 hours so they can shut up.
That's
Uh,
that now see that's torture. Like that's just god awful mean because I'm still at least able to go to sleep for them.
It's the only thing that makes sense. Right?
What?
I said that's the only thing that makes sense. They torture us with all the noise, so let's torture them back. We'll give them Baby Shark.
Yeah, but Baby Shark. I mean, come on. Have you ever? So you don't have kids, right? Which I'm telling you right now sucks. For if you want kids, I'm sorry, you'll eventually get them. If you don't want them or you're thinking about them, I want
Why
you
would
to.
you ask that question, that is the strangest approach for a radio guy. That is you don't have kids, right? Well, that is the like.
Yeah, you don't
gotta
have
get-
kids, right?
Get a second
That's
answer.
good. No, that's good. I'm telling you why it's good to be young
didn't-
and not have
You
kids.
didn't let me tell you yes or no.
Well, because I know you personally, I guess. I mean, everybody. I mean, I don't know. I think people that are watching know you don't have kids. Maybe they don't. Matt, do you have kids?
They could be watching this in 2035. And this is from listening to it in 2035.
That's
on,
true.
On Spotify 12.0.
It's a virtual reality. They're just in the studio with us.
Based off Back to the Future, metrics, we're flying around on Mars or something, and you're watching on your hologram. Okay, so you're watching us on your hologram right now. I do not currently have kids.
He's so mad that we had to explain that in depth. Okay, so let me tell you why it's good you currently don't have kids. Because there's a song called Baby Shark, and I'm sure you've heard of it. But if you have children, then you understand for a fact that you know that you will listen to that song 6,000, 7,000 times a day. And then the kids will keep singing it and 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 singing it. And the only thing that you want to do is you welcome the locusts. You actually want them in your house because it might drown out the sound of Baby Shark. So if you have children, open up the door and let those 17-year-old cicadas come right on in, because I'm telling you right now, if you want to drown out the noise of that, it's horrible. Baby Shark is friggin' horrible, and it gets stuck in your head for months.
Oh.
Yeah, it's awful.
Well, we're gonna end the cicada talk. And better news: the Indians are now up 5-3 over the White Sox.
That makes me happy. Ooh, Sox are at 3. Who's pitching?
Let me get that. It's the top of the fourth.
Top of 4.
It is the bottom of the fourth, one out. Let's see. The Hedgehog, Austin Hedge, hit 2-run home run to take the lead. And why can't I see who's pitching? Twitter sucks for actual information you want to find. Shane Bieber.
Ooh, Shane gave up 3, huh? Wonder if they were earned or not.
It's a bad game for Shane Bieber.
So the thing, yeah, but you know what? I can't. Yeah, is it though? But in retrospect, if you're looking at it, yeah, giving up 3 runs is probably not the best. But I literally watched last night.
In pitcher standards, it's okay, but Shane Bieber standards, like.
Right, but what if that's what I mean. Was it earned runs or was it because you got to remember last night they were making errors and even Jose Ramirez was popping errors off and it's not like it was bad. He was a routine ball. It's like he didn't even care. He just let it go right under his glove. And then you got Hernandez, huh?
They just scored again.
Uh-oh.
Jose Ramirez, RBI, 6-3.
All right. So I guess the more I talk crap live on air, the more they're just gonna prove me wrong, which is fine because whatever.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, Luplo, you're horrible. Bowers, you're garbage. Bieber, you can't pitch. Stick to singing. I don't know. What do you got? Like, I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. But watching what happened, because, I mean, I try to listen. I can't watch it because it's on Bally Sports or whatever, and you have to have AT&T cable or AT&T whatever.
Actually, you might be right. You might be right because the Indians have had 2 errors.
See, are they? Yeah, and that's not good. That's how you know for a fact if we were a wild card team, we play a real team. And I'm not saying the Sox aren't a real team, but when
Sox
you
are pretty good.
right. But I mean, you play like the top tier teams. You're not going to make it with making 2 errors a game. That's just not going to happen. I don't care who you are. Get back to the fundamentals and play baseball like you're supposed to. And I know a lot of these kids are rookies, but then you have players like Bowers who everybody trash talks. Like everybody hates Bowers. And it's because they wanted to see Bradley Jr. get a shot. Well, they gave it to Bowers instead because look what happened. Bowers was out of options. We either gave it to Bowers or we kicked him out. And listen, he has not been bad. Anybody who says Bowers is horrible has not been watching the past 12 games. They just haven't because he's doing fine. You want to talk about his stick? Fine. Talk about the bat. Talk about how he's not hitting like he should. Let's talk about the diving plays he's making. Let's talk about the fantastic picks he's making at first base. We as Cleveland fans are fickle, man, especially when it comes to the rebuilding process. We got to start acting like we're Clevelanders. We rebuild every 5 years. Like, that's what we do. Every 5 to 6 years, doesn't matter what team it is, we rebuild. Get used to it and get behind the players and maybe show them a little support, huh?
It's a fantastic farm team.
It's a You know, I used to think that the Toronto Blue Jays were our farm team. So at the time, we're pulling out, Edwin Encarnacion. You got to remember, not Antonetti. Who went over there? Shapiro went over there. Like,
He did leave, but yeah, that's a different story.
that is true. That is very true. But I mean, like, they are our farm team. And it's like sitting over there watching what's going on in Cleveland now. Dude, we're playing baseball at a high level with basically a minor league, interleague squad. Like we're
playing major league, literally major league.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Like, and I'm not.
I gotta get in this to change topics a little bit because somebody's fired up.
Who?
So, for those of you who don't know who watch the show live. We put some captions on there on Twitter to spark some conversation on there. And the one big thing lately has been iCarly. They're rebooting it.
Yes.
And we did need to talk about this because I actually liked it. I watched that show a lot as a kid.
Dude, I did too.
Yeah, it was a good show. I like Drake and Josh, and then loved iCarly. Like they're great shows.
100%.
So, our producer Tyler put this on Twitter to say, "Are you excited to see the new iCarly revival series? Let us know your thoughts." Wow. This is a big one. Will's Melissa G, not to call you out here, but no, feeling like Fuller House and trying to reboot shows was for kids. Makes no sense to me.
So what is iCarly being rebooted as an adult show?
No, it's just another Paramount show.
So what?
Which is Nickelodeon about?
So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with?
I don't know, but they are fired up about it. I would like to know why. Tell us why.
She definitely didn't get the part. She was trying to be in it and didn't get the part. But she said something like Fuller House, like all that other stuff. So what? Fuller House was actually a decent show until until certain people started leaving and they weren't able to get it went downhill when Becky went to jail. Let's just be honest. When Aunt Becky got hit with some stuff.
She's back out already, right? So I mean, it's not even as bad as a petty drug charge. She's already out for laundering.
Petty drug charge, yeah, for money laundering and what was it, intimidating? No, bribing, wasn't it, or something like that?
Messed up. When you go to jail for bribing, and a person with a petty drug charge stays in jail longer than you because you bribed them and not be in jail for that long. Like the bribing is horrible. The bribing circle is bad.
Yeah, you know what? We talked about that. I think we talked about that when it happened. I'm not sure, but I know it's been brought up before. But Aunt Becky, man, like I'm telling you right now, I was not for them going to jail. I was not for any of that because, dude, this has been going on for years and 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 years, all the way back to the very first college. Somebody talked to the dean and was like, hey, I'll give you some sticks and berries if you take my caveman kid and teach him how to make fire. Like, that's been happening for years and years and years. And I get people hate the 1% so bad because they can get away with stuff like this. But, I mean, was it really as big a deal as they made it? I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't buy it. I just don't think so.
We don't get political on the show, but the only thing I will say is, how does she get out before somebody with a marijuana charge gets out? That's all I'm going to say.
Well, no, it's not a political thing. It's just like I don't understand the severity of it.
Like I said, you go to jail for bribing. You bribe your way out of jail. Like what the heck?
You bribe your way out of jail.
He's really good at that.
And I'm not. And I'm not saying. And again, you're right. We usually don't talk about stuff like this, but every time I sit there and I'm like, because I was a Fuller House fan. I was definitely a Drake and Josh fan, and I was definitely an iCarly fan. But I'm thinking to myself, like, these revives, nothing is new under the sun. Like, we're shooting a pilot for a TV show right now called Totally Geeked, and we're not going to give out too much information on it yet. But, like, there's no real original scripted ideas. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in a couple things, and if it's not reality, it's almost not original. And even reality is not even that original anymore.
Well,
Do you know what I
they're
mean?
starting to well, now, I mean, directors and stuff, no offense to directors, but if they need a scripted thing or a series, they're going to find obscure books that nobody's heard about and then
Right.
make them into series.
Right, and nobody's going to make any original content. That's the problem. So we're getting ready to shoot this show, and it's like, I don't know if it's original or not. It's just a good idea, I think. So I want to do it. I think it's a good idea.
Well, and to be fair, even this is kind of a spin-off of an idea from Anthony Bourdain, right? So
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
yes, that's a very, 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 very good way of putting it. It is a spinoff. Or even the Jeff Goldblum documentary that's on, not documentary, but the docu-series, which is on Disney Plus. Basically, all we're doing is we're going out there, and it's called Totally Geeked, and we're going to go into people's nerdum, and we're going to talk about cards. But nerd isn't a bad thing, right? You could be a nerd about anything. You could be a nerd about NASCAR,
yeah,
baseball.
let's preface this real quick. So
Yeah.
So this is actually kind of cool. So if you guys have ideas of like if you're super into NASCAR trading cars, or if
Yes.
you're super into samurai swords, or maybe it's into UFC stuff, whatever it is, doesn't have to be
100%.
sports. Could be, I don't know. It could be stuff from the ocean. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like it could be anything like that. Beach class, whatever.
Yep.
It's exploring like different. I would call them cult followings in a way, or like,
Sure.
Or maybe like niche things that people are. It's like my strange obsession or whatever, but like
It's a good way to put it. It's
But good
yeah.
things.
Yep. No, that's exactly what it is. You're right, and you know for a fact that you can be a nerd now. You remember when nerd was a bad thing? I mean, you got to remember, like, you just got called a nerd, whatever. But it's not. For one, it was stupid to if you're a nerd. A lot of these people grow up with great ideas and have changed the world. You know what I mean? So diving into something that brought you joy and getting made fun of, looking back on it, man, dude, that sucked. Like, that sucked to have to hide, playing Magic cards or Pokemon cards or whatever. I don't care how old you are. There's only certain ways I can bond with my kids, right? There just is. Whether, for Aiden, it's Star Wars. If there is The Mandalorian, anything Star Wars, I can sit down and I can completely 100% bond with him. My other kids, it's video games or, trading cards, which is what I'm into. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. I don't apologize for that. My son loves Dungeons and Dragons, loves it. I'll play Dungeons and Dragons with him. I don't care what anybody says, what anybody thinks. But the problem is that culture hasn't been shown. And there's still a lot of people who are like, do I want to say it? Do I want to tell people I'm doing it? Well, you know what? Come out. It's time to say yes. This is what we're doing. Nerdum is not a bad thing. Being a geek is not a bad thing. And being totally geeked about something, anything, is not a bad thing. So let's uncover it. Let's find passions for what people do. And let's really dive into their stories and see how we can do it. And we just started filming it today.
yeah, no, it's an age where everybody tries to be the same.
Yep.
You have to be unique at the same time. So show your uniqueness. Like I am proud to say that I am a nerd when it comes to race cars, and guess what?
Yep.
I got a pretty cool career out of it.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. These nerds who are super passionate about cards, guess what? They grew up to have card stores, and they make a decent, they make a decent living off it. Or they grew up to be comic book owners. They're pretty decent, living, and you get to do what you want to do. Who is it for us to say how you succeeded in life? What if they succeeded by saying they have their bills paid, They might not be able to go out, but they're comfortable, but they're doing something they like, and it's because of the passion. And what's wrong with going back and reverting to being a child for 2 hours and playing and using your imagination instead of sitting in front of a TV watching CNN, Fox News, or whatever, and just getting upset and depressed? You know what I mean? Go out and have fun. Read a book. I used to say comic books were the gateway drug to literature. I read comic books when I was growing up, and I love books. I love them. I can sit down and read and my mom laughs because when I was a kid, I fought it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to read. I don't want to read. I don't want to read. But then something happened around 7th or 8th grade where I was like, yep, this is it. I want to read. Had a bad day, picked up a comic book. Had a bad day, went with my friends and played cards. That's what we're going to try to show in the series. And it's going to be, we're going to shoot 8 episodes. We're going to, we're going for the funding and everything. But we're shooting the trailer, and I'm sure we'll debut it on this show before we debut it anywhere else. But we're getting a lot of positive responses from it, a lot of positive stuff going on, and I absolutely love it.
I'm excited to see how it turns out from you guys. It's going to be pretty cool. And one point I was going to say was you need your computer fixed, your TV fixed, your TV installed, your stereo system installed, your car stereo system installed. Who do you have to call? Geek Squad.
That's right. Yeah, good point. That is exactly right.
It's not Ghostbusters.
No, that's you're 100% right. When we've talked about this before, I think you could have any hobbyist. I don't care what the hobby is: fishing, hunting, card collecting, collectibles. Anything.
Those are fun.
Are they really?
I put a model rocket engine one time in a Coke can and put it on the rod, and it went up. It spun around. It was the biggest engine you could get. It was like 650 yards in the sky. And it instead went down to the pond, came back up, came straight through the door, past my mom, just barely grazed her shoulder, and nailed her golden retriever. I felt so bad.
Oh my God.
Luckily, he was fine. He just went.
Tyler's dying over there. But no, I think it's going to be a good series. I think it's going to open up to a lot of different things that people, and even people might start getting interested in some of this stuff. But we have a lot of big names, like the original inventor of Magic. He's going to be doing an interview with us. The CEO of Troll and Toad is going to be doing an interview with us. And I know if you're not into cars and stuff, you have zero idea what I'm talking about. But these are big name heavy hitters in the nerdum type realm, and these guys have made literally hundreds of millions of dollars doing what they enjoy, and who are we to piss on them anymore? Let's you want unity, you want to bring people back to a common goal and a common thing, and this is it. This is way before Facebook, way before MySpace, way before social media. This is how people hung out.
Yep. So, well, Tyler, I need to make me a show note for Thursday because we're going to talk about, so in college, right? This is going to be a whole spiel. I'm not going to get into too much tonight, but college, from high school to college, you're taught one way to do everything, right?
Yeah.
And then once you do all that stuff, you figure out that nothing worked.
Yep. No, that will be a whole spiel because I'll talk to you about that too because there's.
But no, I mean, it goes into the totally geek things because people who follow their passions end up doing well. And some people who try to follow the norm, some people, sure, works out for some.
Sure.
But, I mean, for a lot, they end up disappointed and depressed. So, anyways, we'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, make sure that you guys go follow myself, Matt_Tift at KeithMeiger1. If you're listening to this afterwards, make sure you go share this podcast. If you're watching now, go share this podcast. We will be back again Thursday for the Big 4-0, the 40th episode, if you can believe it, of Life in the Fast Lane Show.
Wow, really? 40 episodes? I like it.
40 episodes already.
We will be back Thursday. Make sure you guys check us out for all your streaming needs. KM Voice, we've got it all. If you want your event covered, we will do it. If you're getting married and your grandma doesn't want to come because she's sick and whatever, or she just doesn't want to go, she's lazy, I don't know, pick one. We can hook you up with that. We can stream it right to her, I don't know, iPad, iPhone. What do you think a grandma has?
Nano? Maybe Nano.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back Thursday. We'll see you guys later.